On Afghanistan, General Stanley McChrystal has said that if we don't get more troops in there, this is not going well. We can't increase security there without more troops. If we don't have those extra troops, the outcome there might be failure as opposed to victory. President Obama has said he wants to assess his options. He wants to give some thought to this. Is there any way, in your opinion, that he can ignore the advice of his top military commander in that theater?
Well, let me answer you in this way. The surge worked in Iraq, and our guys did a fabulous job, the men and women we sent there. But if you talk to General Petraeus or anybody who was involved in it, they will tell you that it also worked because this Iraqi Sunni in Anbar, let's say, fought with them side by side, were willing to risk their lives because they were sick and tired of the al-Qaeda in Iraq, at all the killing they did and the irresponsible behavior they had. In other words, we had somebody to help. If you go back and look at Vietnam, the real lesson is not that we didn't try hard enough, but we didn't spill enough blood there. God knows we did. It is that in the end, the local Vietnamese either didn't oppose the Viet Cong and their North Vietnamese sponsors, or they didn't oppose them enough because they didn't think that the South Vietnamese government that we were backing held out enough hope for them to risk their lives.
Are you leading me to say that the Afghani people have not reached the point yet where they're willing to stand up and insist that the Taliban be gone?
Not quite, but what I'm saying is I think they're teetering there, and I think what the president may want to do, I mean, this is up to him. We have to take him at his word. You heard what he said. He wanted to ask a lot of questions about this. But I also believe that while asking questions, he may want to see how this election controversy is resolved. Let them come with the final count. A lot of these votes have been questioned. Maybe the resolution would be to have both the top two candidates in some configuration in the Afghani government going forward. Maybe if that happens, you've got a lot more local people willing to back them. And look, it's worth it to us to keep the Taliban from coming back into Afghanistan, from giving the al-Qaeda free rein, to where if they could wander around over a broader place instead of keeping them pinned up. It'd be easier for them to plan attacks on Americans.
What you're saying to me is you're supporting the president in not just signing the order to send additional troops there without real careful consideration of the situation.
I am. There is no question that McChrystal told him, General McChrystal told him what he believes the truth to be, which is that in order to secure a higher percentage of the land and the people who live there, he will have to have more manpower. But in the meanwhile, I think what the president will probably try to do, and again, all I know is what I read about this, but look what they've done. They've way upped the CIA's activity there, including paramilitary and intelligence, and working with local leaders. They can redeploy and maybe even reconfigure the present number of troops that are there. And I think the president is prudent in wanting to take a little time just to see how this, the political situation levels out. Because you can help someone fight a battle, but you can't fight their battles for them. In the end, they have to fight with you. That's what I think the president is saying. McChrystal knows, however, to give credit to him, what it takes for success in counterinsurgency. So it's not that he's wrong. It's just that in addition to doing what he says, the local conditions for victory have to be there.
Real quickly, if you can. You're in New York. The governor here is embattled. His popularity ratings are anemic. The White House has suggested he should step aside. He should not run for election next year. Should he run for election, or will he hurt the Democratic Party?
I think, first of all, the election's next year, and he's not in good shape now. But I will say this about David Paterson. He is a good man. He has achieved a lot in his life, and the people who really know him tend to really like him and are very, I think that he will do in the end what he believes is best for New York. And I think we should trust him to do that. I trust him to do that, and I believe that if he thinks he's got a reasonable chance to win, I think he'll probably run. If he thinks that the chances are 1 in 10 or worse, I think you probably won't. But that's up to, I think he'll decide and he'll make a good decision.
And finally, your global initiative, you're focusing on investing in the success of women and girls
We are.
this time, and you're dealing with a difficult economy. Can you have the impact you've had in past years?
I think so. It's very interesting. We have as many paying members. We have 30 more commitments this year going into the meeting than we had last year. We've raised more money this year in health care and education than we did last year, and almost as much in economic empowerment. The only place where the money's down is in the expensive energy projects, because the demand for new energy is not as great and the capital available is not as great. But if you look at what we're focused on, women and girls and trying to fight human trafficking, let's just take that. The one proven strategy in every culture across all religious and ethnic and racial differences that has worked to lift incomes and to reduce soaring birth rates in very poor places is putting all the girls of the world in school and giving all the young women in the country access to the labor market. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about what can be done to stop something that sadly has increased in this bad economy, which is trafficking, mostly in young women, but also in young boys, and selling them into bondage, into slavery.
And I want to say, first of all, congratulations on what you've accomplished over the last several years, and good luck again with the initiative this year.
Thank you, Matt.
President Clinton, it's a pleasure to have you here. Let's go back to the studio, Studio 1A. Ann Curry's got to check it all.